everybody, this is Matthew Movies coming at you with my review of Iron Man 2, a 2010 sequel in the superhero franchise that is also a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a series of films that I am going to be reviewing over the coming days. This movie is interesting because it's the first sequel in the franchise, and I think one of the most disappointing movies in general. A film that just has a lot of elements of it that I think does not work at all. And chief among them, I actually feel like Robert Downey Jr. does a pretty piss poor job as Tony Stark in this movie. Now, I love him as Tony Stark in several films. First of all, the original debut performance I think is great. I thought was really good in the first Avengers movie, even Avengers: Age of Ultron, and Captain America: Civil War. I thought he just was very impressive in. But I feel like this movie is probably his least successful performance as the character, because I feel like he's doing an imitation of what he did in the first film. He's trying too hard to come off with that panache and that cool vibe that seems so effortless in the first film, and it just makes him a lot less likable as a character. This is the first film with Don Cheadle playing his buddy James Rhodes, and to me it totally does bump me from the experience to a degree. I think it's better in rewatches, but I remember when it first came out being like, that's not Terrence Howard, and feeling that it was. I've just never been a big fan of movies that recast one of the main roles, and this is definitely, obviously, one of them. And although I think Don Cheadle is just a stellar actor, it just really kind of bumps me from the experience. Mickey Rourke is in this movie, and I remember being very excited about that because I had just recently seen The Wrestler, a movie that I thought he just was phenomenal in, and I always thought he was an actor that had a great deal of chops, and it was really good in several movies like Diner and others, and I was excited to see him take part in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I thought they did a terrible job of writing the character. I mean, there's some really interesting choices. I mean, his accent is pretty entertaining, and his whole thing about his bald, I need my bald, it just makes me laugh hysterically. It's so goofy. It's just such a weird obsession that it's just kind of thrown in there for no clear reason. But I thought they did a terrible job in writing the character, because they set up Whiplash, and I was never a big fan of Whiplash from the comics. He was always much more of like a kind of a crony to me, a character that you never really felt like had a whole lot of ability or felt like a lot of peril when he showed up. But I was like, okay, well, if they're gonna add him to the franchise, you gotta assume that they're gonna kind of make him a little bit more cool. And I really feel like if you set up any character that is a villain as somebody who has the ability to really do some damage, you're gonna instantly take them more seriously. So I thought, they could definitely do a good job of it in this film, but they did the exact opposite. In his debut fight, he gets just trounced so quickly. It was amazing. And then for the rest of the film, we're supposed to take him seriously, and as a result, that you never see him with the whiplashes again. He's much more depending on his computer genius, and I'm like, well, that's not what I'm looking for out of a Iron Man villain. And this movie ends off with the big Iron Man versus a bunch of robots fight, just like the first film. And just like the first film, I found it to be very tedious and boring and uninteresting. And there's just a lot of elements of this film I feel like don't work. However, I do think there are a couple of things that are successful and really cool. One of them being, I think Sam Rockwell does a pretty stellar job as Justin Hammer, a guy. And it's interesting because I touched on the fact that I felt like Robert Downey Jr. was trying too hard to be cool. And it's the exact same thing here with Justin Hammer trying too hard to be cool, but that's the character. I thought Sam Rockwell did just a stellar job playing somebody who is trying too hard to be cool, and I thought it just worked exceptionally well. I love the moment where he's got the briefcase where he uses it to turn into to Iron Man. I thought that was really cool. And then when Samuel L. Jackson shows up as Nick Fury, I thought that was kind of cool, although I wasn't a big fan of the whole thing where he's like, oh, you're not good enough to be a part of the Avengers Initiative. I thought that was kind of lame. Overall, I think this movie is kind of a failure on almost every level, to be perfectly frank. It's just not a film that I find very rewatchable, and one that I think is very entertaining, and I think is definitely one of the lesser films in the franchise. So those are my thoughts on Iron Man 2. Let me know in the comments below what you think, if you think I'm too hard on it, if you think it's much better than I do, if you like Robert Downey Jr. in it, whatever. Other than that, please hit that like button, hit that share button. It makes it much more likely that other people come check out this review and hopefully join in the conversation, which is something I just value immensely, and as a result I'd be very, very appreciative of you doing that. And if you are new here, please hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button so you can find out when I put out a new video, and come and let me know what you think. Other than that, have yourself a good day.